everyone, and welcome back to Open. We welcome our last guest, a board certified music therapist, educator, and multidisciplinary artist, proudly hailing from the BX. She's worked as a teaching artist in the Caribbean and South Africa, teaching storytelling to women and children in crisis. Her musical influences span from indie pop, rock, R&B, and jazz sounds of the 60s, 70s, and early 2000s, creating storyboard visuals for each release. Listeners are immersed in a nostalgic pocket of time. And joining us now to share more is music therapist, educator, and multidisciplinary artist, Kiki Saraia.
Hello.
Hello, flower child. I love it, love it, love it.
Thank you, thank you.
OMG. I know you like flowers.
I love flowers, even though I'm allergic, so these are fake.
Oh, look
But
at
I
that.
reuse them a lot.
You use a lot of flowers, though.
I do use a lot. Actually, the flowers in the visual of me with the flowers
With the blue
glued
lipstick,
to me with the
yes.
blue lipstick, those are real. But I took an allergy pill, so it was all good.
Wow, how fascinating. You're like in love with flowers, but yet you're allergic to them.
Yeah, irony, life.
Ah, interesting, but that doesn't stop you from wearing them in another form.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and you definitely wear them well.
Thank you.
Yes. So let's talk a little. I mean, honestly, we don't have the time to talk about.
I know. I was
everything.
like, oh, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there is. However, because you're going to be presenting in the realm of singing and,
Yes.
and using your voice as therapy and all of that beautiful stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because it was therapeutic for me. I mean, you made my morning just listening to you do your sound checks.
Oh, thank you.
Let's talk about how you're able to merge the two
Yeah.
and differentiate at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Because you teach, you provide workshops, you provide healing, and then you perform.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I think it's difficult to balance separately. I think using them in an interdisciplinary way where I might be doing one project, but using all of the tools that I have from each of my skills together is what I think makes them really strong. So I'm also an actress, and I was most recently on tour with Sister Act the Musical in South Korea. And of course, it would be very difficult for me to also then have music therapy clients like here in New York while I'm away on tour. But one thing that I love about music specifically is just how healing it is. That I can say, okay, just because I'm on stage doesn't mean that I'm not helping people anymore.
Right.
I use music with my clients in a music therapy setting to help them achieve a non-music goal, but I can take that and say, okay, today when I am on stage performing, I hope and am going to try to make one person laugh. If one person laughs, if I make eye contact while I'm looking out there with one person in the audience that day, I did my job. If one person comes up to me afterwards and says anything about how my performance touched them, or they connected with me, or made them think about this thing in their life that they're going through or that happened to them, then I did my job.
Yeah, I dig that. I dig everything you just shared with us and the way you processed, right? Because this is your own processing that you just did in justifying that, you know what, it's okay for me to just be the performer right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even in my performance, I'm still servicing.
Yes.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something I had to kind of reconcile. And a great music therapist named Claudia Eliaza, who is a mentor of mine, she basically told me that because I left a music therapy job in the past to go back to school to get my master's degree, and I was having such guilt about leaving my clients. And she was like, look, there are so many ways that you can use music to reach people, to heal, with, again, writing something that comes from you and putting it out into the world for others to hear. And again, if one person connects with something that you did, that you said, that you wrote, that you felt, and they're feeling it, then it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think today's show's theme is mindfulness because that's what we're discussing right now. Is a level of mindfulness in anything that you do, right? Because when you approach it with that level of intent, it's inevitable. It's gonna touch somebody in some form, in some way. Right. And so now what we're discussing is the fact that you have all of these abilities, and sometimes you have to kind of like tend to one more than the other.
Yeah.
And so hence the balance that you're establishing for yourself, right? Because I can't imagine. I was like, oh, wow, she was over there in South Korea.
Yeah, South Korea.
In South Korea, which is all the way over there.
Yes.
And you're performing Sister Act, right?
Yeah.
Playing a nun, no less, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is fascinating, right? And so yes, in some form you're healing.
Yeah.
Right? Just even in the character itself, right?
Oh my gosh, I mean, there were people who came to see the show literally 9 times and who were like super fans who would like bring the cast cookies. There was a time when I was coming out from the stage door and someone had my name like written on, like, it was near Christmas and they had my name like written on a cookie, and they were like, oh, this is for you. And I was like, you know my name?
Wow.
Like specifically me, it wasn't just, oh, she's in the cast. It was like, oh, I know you. I come back to see everyone, and it's so special.
That is special. And then now here you are balancing out all of these other different legs, right?
Yeah.
And so I know we also discuss these projects in development that you have. One of them really fascinated me.
Yes.
A play, right? What is it? Apocalypse Now? Is that did I get the title right?
So it's actually, I'm writing a trio of apocalyptic plays called the Apocalypse Plays. So the first one I actually wrote in grad school, and it's called Bread and Butter, because once you put butter on bread, they can't be separated. And that one is kind of a zombie apocalypse told through shadow puppets are representing the zombies in that one. And that really is about like what makes a family. That you can get these strangers who are in this dire circumstance, and because of the circumstances that they're in, they become each other's everything. So the second play, which I'm in the research and development phase of right now, is called The Night the Stars Fell. And it takes place in the wild, wild east of the Bronx.
I love that.
50 years in the future, in a world where the Bronx is the last standing borough of New York City after a climate disaster. And the land is now being stewarded by Black and Indigenous Latina cowgirls in Van Cortlandt Park.
Oh my gosh, sounds like me. I'm like, yes, do it. So yes, I love it. And that's why we had to mention it, because it's wonderful. And I think that within itself is therapeutic.
I mean, writing is, right?
No, just the writing, but also the storytelling style. I'm just saying, I'm a little stuck, if you didn't notice. Right? Like, the climate.
I know.
Climate. You know, and so it's important that we have these conversations to process it, right?
Yeah.
And so, so that's in that sphere of your work, right?
Yes.
And then there's the music, and I really loved what you were presenting this morning, which you guys are going to get a taste of later, so you guys stay tuned. But let's talk about that aspect of your work.
Yeah.
And writing, singing, partnering up with your husband.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
here.
pretty dope.
That is really dope. Yeah. So my husband Dimitri is a drummer, and I'm very lucky to have a built-in drummer in my home, so he can.
I mean, that's a matter of opinion, though. I'm just saying.
I will say our dog does not like it when he plays. Okay. He loves it when I sing, though. So balance. But yeah, I feel like I came to songwriting late. I have been studying music since I was a kid. I have 2 degrees in music. Like, music has been everything to me in my life, and my first love in terms of all of the artistic endeavors that I am pursuing and doing. But I came to songwriting a little bit later. I didn't seriously start songwriting until around 2018 or 2019. And I had a friend of mine who is actually my producer, Fraser Watt, a friend of mine from college, who one day just asked me, like, oh, do you write? And I was like, yeah, but not really. And he said, oh, show me some stuff. And that kind of was a tipping point into me being like, oh, the things that I write maybe have value and aren't terrible. Maybe I should explore this more. And it's been very interesting to explore my sound. The song that I'm going to be singing, Alien Song, I wrote in...
Your title is interesting too. Alien Song. Apocalypse. Apparently she knows something we don't.
My head, I'm very much so here on Earth, but sometimes I am elsewhere.
No, it's all good. You know,
yes.
all good. I'm there with you because I'm like, oh,
sometimes we have to be.
The song she's gonna be singing is Alien Song, mi gente. I'm just saying,
yes.
you know, yeah.
And I wrote that one in 2020, which of course now was 4 years ago. So it's interesting to like still really love the music that I wrote 4 and 5 years ago, which is the music I'm producing now, but then the new things that I am writing currently, and just to like see that journey of how my sound has changed, how perspectives have changed, and even how the meanings of the songs that I've written in the past have changed for me as I've grown as a person.
Right, and what you're presenting for us today, it kind of loaned itself as almost like a lullaby. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like this underlying, I don't know. And I'm going to leave them with that because they got to stay tuned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But congratulations to you.
Thank you so
on
much.
everything you're doing.
Thank you.
You are quite magical.
Thank you.
Yes. And you guys have to stay tuned to see what I'm talking about because Kiki Saraia is going to perform for us after the break, and you definitely don't want to miss the Alien Song. Just saying. Hey everyone, welcome back here now to perform Alien Song, accompanied by Dimitri Drums. Let's give it up for Kiki Saraia.
Bum bum ba bum bum ba bum bum ba bum bum. Saying goodbye, not an easy thing to do, but at least I'll try to say the right words to you. You make me feel like falling slowly. You make me feel like catching air before I leave. Do you have a star to spare? You give me a folded napkin. Ha ha, inside is a piece of bread. I place it in my empty basket. My sleeve unravels into thread. You make me feel like cloudy Sundays. You make me feel like a fiery flare. Before I leave, can we have the sky to share? Can't seem to find my keys or my ticket for the train. Don't really want to leave. I don't need to explain. You make me feel like a constellation, far away from where we are. Before I leave, can we ride in your car? Bum, bum, ba, bum, bum. ask me to stay. What do you really want to know? I have no secrets today. You make me feel like a green aurora, far away from where we are. Before I leave, I can't be firefly in your jar. And you make me feel like magic, stardust, magic, stardust, magic, stardust, not real.
I chose the right word. Magic. Magic. Kiki Saraia, everyone. And Dimitri's on drums, or cajon, we should say. Woo! Once again, Alien Song is out now on all streaming platforms. For more, you can check out her out on Instagram at Kiki Saraia. And bueno, mi gente, that's our show today. If you don't mind playing us out. All right, Kiki's gonna play us out. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out this episode throughout the weekend and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rena Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.